Syed Asad Abbas is a political analyst, speaks on behalf of the Aam Aadmi Party. The Aam Aadmi Party this time has stakes in Gujarat. Anirban Banerjee is a lawyer and a political analyst. Subhash Jha is an advocate. And Yashovardhan Azad is a former IPS officer. Please help me understand, Subhash Jha, how what happened on the 15th of August with the release of these 11 men is okay. The rules will say what they say. But the fact is, under Indian law, Mr. Jha, parole is not every prisoner's right.
Let us understand what the legal position is.
It is at the discretion of prison authorities and the government.
Let us understand what.
Is this even a legal argument? Is this even? Is this to your view a legal argument?
So let us understand what the legal position is. CRPC was amended so far as section 433A is concerned. I can see on 18th of December 1978 when BJP was not in power. It was rewritten or rather amended extensively in 1973 when 433 was brought to the statute book. What does it say? It precisely talks of power to commute the sentence. And 433A, which was brought to the statute book on 18th of December 1978, talks of restricts the power of remission. Now, it restricts the power of remission to the extent even if you are charged with life imprisonment. Then also, unless and until you serve the sentence of 14 years, the minimum sentence one accused has to serve is 14 years to have the benefit. Now, ultimately, these are the powers given to of commuting. The sentence is given to the state government. Now, one may say, or it's a matter of debate, that how can you sentence someone when the highest court of the country, or maybe the highest court of the state, followed by the Supreme Court of India, which is the highest court of the country, has sentenced a person, say for example, life imprisonment. So whether he should serve the life till he dies in the jail, or the state should have the power to commute the sentence, is a matter which has been debated again and again. And I may tell you, in 1981, a constitution bench of the Supreme Court has upheld the provisions contained in 433. Now, therefore, having said that, now it is ultimately, if a decision, it appears that there's so much of hue and cry that one of the 11 accused have committed another offense while he was on parole earlier. So ultimately, if one accused out of the 11 has committed, assuming an offense under 354C, then the question is, can all 11 be accused, all other 10 be punished? The answer to that is no. Ultimately, if something has gone wrong, I'm a slightly different issue. If something has gone wrong,
there's not only one guy. It's not just one guy. I just want to factually correct you here. It's not just one guy who has been charge sheeted for molesting an eyewitness. Correct. There is another guy who jumped parole as late as April. He's another guy. And yet the prison authorities, despite the fact that he jumped parole, the prison authorities say good behavior, let him go. Molested eyewitness in July, no problem. In August, let him go. Matlab, good behavior kya hai? Does good behavior change with the change of name or religion?
No. Jumping, Shreya, let us understand, jumping the parole would mean what? Say, for example, if a person was granted parole for 15 days and he reports for some reason or the other, say after 5 days more or after 2 days, can you call it jumping the parole? See, we do not have the figures and therefore let us not jump the gun. In my assessment, the issue is slightly different. The question is something gone wrong if the
word parole is rooted in military law.
Yes. I'm coming to that. If a decision is wrong, no.
It's rooted in military law.
I'm on a slightly different issue. The question is, who will correct that?
If you don't show up the way you're supposed to show up, it's called jumping parole,
in exercise? No. Shreya, just give me a minute. The issue is not that. The issue is whether the order or decision taken by the committee is wrong or right, is to be proved or is to be certified by whom?
Committee nahi,
by
Government
the highest
of
court
India.
of the country. The answer to that is emphatic no.
India.
And by who? On
the
whose
Government
petition?
of India
On
gave
whose
the
petition?
green
What
ahead.
happens to the High Court?
It is not just the
what
jail
authority. What happens to the power of the High Court under 226?
Anirban Banerjee, come in here.
Assuming that it is
I get
wrong.
the point you're making.
Why the
Essentially, you're
Supreme
showing
Court
us
should
the rule
examine
book.
this? That is the issue. And on whose petition?
But why should the Supreme Court not examine it? A travesty of justice has happened. There is outrage across the country, irrespective of whether you're Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, whether you, if you vote for the BJP or not, you feel outraged about what has happened, and any right-thinking citizen will feel outraged about what has happened. And
I am not on political agenda at all. I am not on religion. I am Supreme Court नहीं देखेगा, वो इसलिए नहीं देखेगा कि Supreme Court exercises power in this case under Article 32, circumventing the power of the High Court under 226. So this is something called doctrine of self-imposed restrictions on power of the High Court and Supreme Court. So when there is an alternative remedy, the litigants are relegated back to the High Court. In this case,
you can give us all the legalese that you have, Subhashji. Subhashji, let other people come in as well. You have given us strangers.
Sure.
We are all citizens of this country. What do you mean strangers? Mahua Mitra is an elected member of parliament.
No.
What do you mean strangers,
means
sir?
Those people.
Subhashini Ali is a responsible member.
Ali is a stranger. She is a politician who
is she a
approached the
stranger?
Supreme Court.
She's a citizen
and so
to this country.
Also few others who seems to have joined. So, they are strangers. No. See, anybody, please try to understand what the legal position is.
What do you mean they're strangers? They're citizens of this country who felt what has happened is wrong, had the wherewithal and the means to go to the Supreme Court, and that's exactly what they've done. Get in Anirban Banerjee. Okay, Mr. Jha, you and I can keep arguing for the rest of the show, but that will be counterproductive. No, ruk jaiye. That will be counterproductive if the two of us keep arguing. I wish I was a lawyer. I'm not. I don't have the legal knowledge that you do. But you need sometimes to take. You need to take moral positions, and this country needs to take a moral position once in a while. You need to have a spine to say what is wrong and what is right. Ek minute ruk jaiye.
Mr. Jha, please let us speak now.
Sir, ruk jaiye. You will have lots of dalils. But I, for the life of me, cannot understand why the government of India would give the go-ahead for parole for 11 men who butchered 14 people. Out of them, 8 were minors, who gang-raped a pregnant woman, smashed the head of a 3-year-old on the wall till she bled to her death. Matlab, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were smoking, honestly. I simply do not understand that. Anirban Banerjee, come in here. The argument that Mr. Jha has made is a legal argument. And many will say, देखो rule book में तो लिखा है. गलत क्या किया? What is illegal?
That legal argument, in my opinion, doesn't stand because there is no law without morality. You cannot, for the sake of legality, simply maul morality and say that this is a legal argument. First of all, it was the Supreme Court had asked the Gujarat state government to consider the petition for a remission by one of the convicts. The Supreme Court did not direct the state government to release them. A committee was constituted, and in that committee there were multiple BJP leaders, BJP MLAs, who were considering the petition of these people who themselves were BJP members when they committed these heinous crimes. There had to be some discretion applied to the decision-making process. And what was the discretion? Where was the discretion? They say one of the members of that committee, after the decision was made and they were released, actually said that these are sanskari people. They could not have done such an heinous act or such an act. Therefore, that person, I think she was a woman, she questioned the conviction given by the special CBI court. Therefore, she was of the opinion that these people actually did not commit the crime. So what is the actual position of that particular committee? Were they considering these people as convicts? Were they considering as them innocents? Were they challenging the verdict passed by the special court then? We do not know. Therefore, this committee was completely politically motivated. The RSS BJP considers these people as heroes because they acted in accordance with their fascist ideology that there is. the heinous crimes that they did commit is heinous for us, common people. For the RSS BJP ecosystem, that is an act of valor. That is why they were released. This is not about any good behavior or legality or any law, any legal position at all. Because the legal position, in my opinion, cannot be without morality. What these people had done is an act against humanity. Smashing a 3-year-old child's head into the wall. You want me to believe that these people had changed within the 14 years after that? Gang raping a pregnant woman, butchering her family members. These people can change? Can we even call them humans? You want to believe that there was discretion applied, they had good behavior in mind and then released? Please do not bring down law to such a low level. Law cannot be without morality. Either you are with these butchers or you are against them. Do not take law to be your shield. Law is not your shield. Either you are for humanity or you are with these people. There is no other way around.
You know, there's a reason why the BJP hasn't sent a representative for the show and for this particular topic. My own sense is that they're probably uncomfortable with what has happened, because any right-thinking citizen, and that there are a lot of people, Mr. Jha, who support the BJP in this country. I vote for the BJP as well. But how is this acceptable to any right-thinking citizen? I want to ask you that. How is this acceptable? And there are people, there are many people in this country who are seeing what is happening, you know, has happened since 15th of August and are saying, this is not okay. This is not okay. This is simply not okay. Where is the shame? Where is the shame, Syed Abbas, in reversing a mistake? This clearly is a mistake. This clearly is a travesty. Now, some, you know, politicians will say, oh, this is pre-planned. These are heroes of the RSS to push you know, their own polarizing agenda, etc., etc. I understand there is an election in Gujarat. Is that why you think we are seeing what is happening?
Shreya ji, as you can see in my background today, I'm a man who's surrounded by 7 women at home today. I'm a father. I'm a son to a wonderful mother. I have a sister. I absolutely, I would say that I'm truly hurt by what is happening. Because what if, astaghfirullah, God forbid, happened to any close of mine? Would I be okay with it? Absolutely not. This is gut-wrenching. This is wrong on all levels. We have respected law on the panel, but is it okay? I think Mahatma Gandhi has answered that. Of all the courts in the world, the highest court is the court of conscience, beyond any court of justice. The party which speaks of Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, what an irony is it? क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप? किससे बचाओ? जिससे बचाना है, you give them clear-cut remission of sorts. The Ministry of Home Affairs approves this. This is truly hurtful. I have a wonderful sister, and I cannot imagine even a fraction of atrocity with Bilkis Bano faced. We need to understand here, cutting across party lines, be it a Congress, be it an AAP, be it a BJP, I truly believe there needs to be a revolution here. If there was a Nirbhaya, but what about Bilkis Bano? We see Modi ji speaking about various forums, about the greatness of women, about the great, wonderful respect that he gives to his mother. But the same mother will ask Modi ji, is that right? These convicted, they are not accused, sir. These convicted criminals out there, 11 of them, and you let them go. What good behavior is it? If a person rapes, no matter the number of years you give them good behavior, I seriously think there needs to make amendments in the respective law and order, without which this is wrong on all levels. This is hurting me as I speak to you today. The fact we need to understand what will happen to that Bilkis Bano, her family, and everyone associated with her. Will it be okay? What about the various crores of women of this country? The female children, uncles, aunties, mothers, everybody. Will they be okay with it? Absolutely not. Shreya ji, we need to understand, and I respect the 4th pillar of Constitution. I might have voted for a Congress, AAP or BJP, but it is high time we take a stand today that this is wrong. We need to call out the duplicity and the hypocrisy of the Bharatiya Janata Party,
wrong
which
is
time
wrong.
and again said Beti Padhao and Beti Bachao.
You need to call out a wrong when it is wrong, and it is clearly so wrong. No, I understand what you're saying, and when something wrong is done, you need to stand up and say that this was wrong and this needs to be corrected. Yashowardhan Azad, should I just assume that parole is, parole is a political privilege? Because it's certainly not a right. There was no reason, absolutely no reason for these 11 convicts, they're not even accused, they're convicts, for these 11 convicts to be out on parole, not once, not for 40 days, but for 1,000 days together. There's absolutely no reason, because what they did was the rarest of rare crimes. They escaped the news, they are lucky. Because for a crime like this, the harshest punishment should have been meted out. It wasn't. Whatever, for whatever reason.
I'm glad
should we just assume that the law is not equal for every citizen in this country? And that something like a parole is ultimately a political decision that will be given at a politically opportune time to benefit you politically.
Well, let me thank you, Shreya, for calling me in the end, because I've heard the lawyers' arguments for and counter. And let me also say that my heartfelt thanks for raising this issue again and again, so that it not only pricks the conscience of almost every individual in our country, the free democracy which we call, it should also knock at them, it should hurt them, it should shame them. Therefore, on that point, my congratulations to you. My second point is, you're right, parole is nobody's right. From Manu Sharma onwards, whether you have a parole or whether the state governments make it convenient for the political prisoners to enter hospitals and stay there as 5-star patients, is the same thing. Therefore, in this case, if these jokers were allowed 1,000 days of parole, it's a travesty of justice in itself. Forget about the acts of crime which they committed outside. I'm truly shocked at the kind of brazenness. Today, the state governments are applying these remission rules and, the commutation powers after 14. You look at the number of people they have released in various states, despite the opposition from the investigating agencies, from the courts, from the civil society at large. And therefore, I think only the civil society can stand today against this kind of outrage. The other thing is, the other parties also don't have any moral high ground to speak against this, because they will speak against the parties. But nobody is speaking to reform the system. The question is, there is a kind of a rule for remission which was changed in 2015. But they say, no, we are doing it according to the 92 because the act was committed before 2015. This kind of legal garbage which you use, if any kind of legal argument supports a crime against humanity, then what kind of law it is? I mean, law is for the people, not people for law. And I'm very happy Mr. Banerjee said that no law is, worth its salt if it's against humanity and it doesn't carry a high moral ground. I'm glad that Supreme Court is listening to this. Supreme Court has already, if you would have noticed, Shreya, has said that the bulky, argument and so many series of court cases which they have cited don't make any sense. And in fact, the Solicitor General just said, yes, it need not have been there. And I do hope it looks at this very, very seriously. Today, I'm telling you, the situation is horrible across the states. I admire Bilkis Bano. She is a role model. Look at her courage, look at her fortitude, the way she comes out and speaks. And I think she's a truly brave Indian woman, and we should all rally behind her.
Subhash Jha, you've heard everyone's opinion on this panel, and I'm fairly certain if I had opened up the phone lines, the opinions would align with what our other speakers have said. There is anger. I mean, I hope there's a realization that there is an anger about what has happened.
You have set the
anger
tone
is not just
in the manner in which.
Go ahead. You have an absolute right
Shreya,
to say what you want to. And please have your say. Because, I want to hear you. You're
Shreya,
saying I came with an agenda. In this case, I did come with an agenda. I agree. I came with an agenda. I came with my mind made up. But I also came with my mind made up that there is another point of view, and let's hear it. So go ahead.
Correct. It's your prerogative to have what agenda you should have. but it is my prerogative to tell you or to the viewers, to your viewers, what the law of the land is. See, we believe in rule of law. We don't believe in moral conviction. We believe in legal conviction. And ultimately, if at all the law has to be changed, in that case, scrap 433, 434, 3A from the statute book. Let those accused may not have, nobody will have this kind of a benefit which remission, benefit which these 11 people have. The media gets attention only when it happens in certain cases or cases which are so highlighted. So ultimately, we may believe that a person has committed an offense, but then it has to be legally established.
You mean certain cases where Muslim women are involved?
To convict a person. Now,
I can assure you that if something like this had happened to a Hindu woman, we would be equally outraged, sir. So don't say the media gets excited only in certain cases.
No, I'm not on Hindu or Muslim.
A crime is a crime.
I'm only on what the law of the land is. This is how the law is to be interpreted.
Well, if you have a law that says it's perfectly okay for 11 men convicted, not accused, convicted of raping a pregnant woman, smashing the head of a 3-year-old till she dies, and wiping out her family of 14, that it's perfectly okay for them to walk out, then, well, the law needs to change. Or maybe there needs to be better application of law.
I'd like to
and maybe the central government doesn't need to give its go-ahead. Who wants to come in? Okay, Syed, you want to come in. Maybe the central government doesn't need, the central government needs to apply its mind and not give the go-ahead for parole for such people. Syed, yes, go ahead.
3 quick points, Shreya. You have always believed with great power comes great responsibility and even bigger accountability. Mr. Jha, I've been listening to you very carefully, sir. I've been in several debates with Shreya ji. The fact of the matter, the agenda of the 4th pillar of the Constitution must be the question, and rightfully so, sir. If that is the agenda, I share the same agenda with Shreya ji. Respected, sir, I can't even imagine happening to any of us, our families. Would we again quote any legal judgments or cite any citations? Absolutely no, sir. The fact of the matter, we need to understand here, sir, this happening is absolutely not okay. We come from the land of Hindustan. We worship goddesses. Is this what we see, sir, with the goddesses? Sir, maa ki pairon ki tili jannat hai. Even Bilkis Bano is a mother, sir. Are we okay with it? Sir, I'm sure you are a father, you're a wonderful brother, but would we be okay happening to our families? Sir, if this is an agenda, then I'm a man with agenda and not be okay with it. And in my opening statement, I did say that the law and order cannot be quoted this way. The law and order, like everything else, needs a change in the positive direction. What good is a law, sir, if it does not serve the right purpose of morality and humanity? I would say, what to do with the same law? I think it is high time that every legal such as yourself, or any police officer, former IPS officer like Yashovardhan ji, or every Indian true to its blood, or at least a human king true to its blood, must and should rally behind Bilkis Bano, have the agenda to make a change. And of course, the Beti Padhao and Beti Bachao agenda should be spoken to. Please, भाजपा के लोगों, Ministry of Home Affairs, बेटी को बचाना है तो इस तरह के law से बचाओ, ऐसे approval से बचाओ. And please, Modi ji, here onwards, do not say Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. And a request to the Honorable D.Y. Chandrachud ji, if he is watching the CJI, respected sir, we have great faith in the Supreme Court and the CJI. I know you will bring this to justice, and you are the hope of India today, and the world is watching, sir, today. The world is watching. We celebrate Goddess Durga, we celebrate Goddess Kali, and we celebrate the right of women. This is the chance to answer, sir.
We leave it there. I'll just end by saying that what happened shouldn't have happened, and hopefully this travesty of justice will be reversed. We'll leave it there. Yashovardhan Azad, thank you for joining us. Subhashja, thank you for joining us. And taking on 3 people who had a completely opposite opinion from what you did. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Anirban Banerjee, thank you very much. And Syed Asad Abbas for joining us. Thank you very much. With that, I'm stepping into a quick break on the show. We are discussing